So life moves on, and here in the northern hemisphere, as the summer proceeds, like the sun, from our perspective here on the Earth, it goes on, and it goes into hexagram number 40, gateway number 40. And here, this gateway is in the willpower center. So it's all about willfulness. And here it is on the right side of the wheel here. Lugnazad, the summer festivities in the pagan tradition. And the bottom trigram here is Khan, water, danger, and the importance of the word yes. Who and what gets our contribution? Where do we jump in? Where do we get involved? And the 40, being in the tribal circuitry in human design, has this whole element of support. Who do I support? Who supports me? What is the nature of support? Can we all put energy in together? And it's in the willpower center. So how do we combine our intention to bring about greater value? Everything in the willpower center is all about values. What has value? And the 40th gate is the gateway perhaps of a particular individual contribution within it all. Somebody who marks themselves as being competent. That is the nature of the 40th gateway. Let me get on with it. Let me deal with it. Let me do it. And in the I Ching, we call it deliverance. Kind of leave me alone. Let me do my thing. Don't bug me. And when I've done it, you can rely on me. I'll do it. When it's over, then I'm going to be resting, right? It's that kind of solemn agreement. What I commit to, I will see it all the way through. And so inevitably, this is one of the three places on the wheel where the opposite hexagram makes up the channel. So there are three of these: the 4323, the 2034, which we just looked at recently, and also the 4037, the channel of community. Right? So this is the foundation of this particular life theme of planning, community. Who's in my community? Who gets my support? How does that support get contributed to the benefit of all? And we end up with this life theme of planning, because on the unconscious side, we've got two logical gates, the 16 and the 9. 16, the gateway of the skill to be able to recognize what has a future, what doesn't. Right? Just that quick recognition. This is going to work. No, this ain't going to do it. Right? And the 16 has this quality of how do you let people down gently when they got an idea that's not going to go anywhere? The kind of speech skill. How do you say it nicely? And then the 9th gateway, the gateway of details. What are the details we need to put together to plan? So this is one of these really unusual life themes in that the Sun Earth are in this channel of community, which is 100% tribal. And the two other gateways, the 16 and the 9, have nothing to do with the tribe at all. They're logical. And the collective and the tribe, it's oil and water. They never really quite match. So people with this life theme, they're always kind of balancing. Am I doing this on my behalf in terms of my family, my community, my clients, the people around me that are important to me, the ones who give and receive support with me? Or am I involving my planet for the benefit of the future, the collective future? So as a species, for the last few hundred years, let's just say the whole energy around us has been in this particular life theme of planning. And rules and regulations very much involve the 16 and the 9. How do we go about things in a collective way that's going to benefit everybody? The 5149 business. And then the 3740 is like, hey, we're just a tribe. We're only interested in ourselves, in a sense, as a tribe, as a group who combine their intentions together. They put their willpower into things to make things move forward. So people with this life theme of planning, I always say it's almost like they're trying to ride two horses at once. And they've got to have a very good balance to recognize if they're all involved just from the family and the tribal side of things, the collective is going to get very upset. But if they're only involved in the collective side of things, the rules and the kind of logical progression of things, then the tribe's likely to get very upset as well. So how do they find that balance between the two sides of things? And this particular life theme of planning, it is looking towards an improving future. But as I say, the tribe and the collective don't necessarily get along at all. The tribe has its own justice system in a way. It's not interested in a collective legal system. So it's a very interesting one for humanity, this, that for the last several hundred years, as I say, we've been in this balance as a species, as a humanity, working out what are the rules that serve society? What are the rules that serve the tribal and the collective at the same time? And let's just say this particular life theme is going to diminish in these next years. And we can already see that. We can already see that a lot of the rules and regulations and things, people are just rolling right over them. We're not interested. We're not interested in what the court system says. We're just going to do whatever we want to do. So very important that we understand the context of this particular life theme of planning. Who are we planning for? The planning is looking at the future, right? How is the future set in a way that it benefits everybody? That's the bottom line with this particular life theme. So then the sun moves on and it gets into the fourth line of the 40th hexagram and the fourth line of the 37th hexagram. The fourth line is very much about willfulness. It's all about heartfelt connection. And the 4037 is all about touch. It's all about tactility. Who's allowed to touch whom? How do we touch each other? You know, is there a difference between a wet fish handshake and a really firm handshake and a really eyeball to eyeball handshake? Yes, there's a huge difference. Is there a difference between somebody that hugs you and pats you on the back and can't wait to let go, or somebody that just gives you a full-on embrace? And that's what the community is all about, in a sense, is the proximity, the familiarity that's allowed. And so this particular life theme of the fixed life theme of denial that we've gone into here is very set on that thing of who is it that really connects with me and who doesn't? Who makes that bond, that clear appreciation, or who likes to kind of go around it a little bit? And so we called it the life theme of denial because people with this life theme, they have a lot of trouble in terms of long-term relationships, especially if the partner can't stay within the certain bounds of how they interact. If we look at the unconscious side, we got the 35 and the 5. The 35 with the unconscious sun is the gateway of progress and moving on, and let's explore something different on my terms, of course. And the 5 is this gateway of timing and waiting and patience. And so people with this particular life theme, as I say, there can be a long-term concern about tight connections, close connections. The easiest way to get through to anybody with a fourth line in their sun earth is a hug. You know, fourth lines are all about hugs. They're all about, you know, that heartfelt, heart connection. And so people with this life theme of denial, they live in that space. Either it's a full-on heartfelt connection, or sooner or later I'm going to find some way of getting out of this. I've got to move on. I've got to go somewhere else. Then we move on to the interpersonal life theme of migration. And that trend of, you know, breaking the bonds and moving on is implicit in this particular life theme. We're talking about 5-1, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3 profiles here with the sun in the 40th gateway. And we call it migration. And, you know, humanity actually has a migration twice a year. And this particular, when the sun goes into this 40 with the fifth line, the migration is on. A lot of people moving house, a lot of people changing connections, finding out that the associations they have are not working for them anymore, that they have to make a change into something very, very different. And it just happens. There are people that have large gatherings, a lot of people involved in their world, and all of a sudden they realize, you know, I'm done with this. I'm not getting the connection or the support. Just doesn't feel like it connects so well with me anymore. Got to move on. Got to go and find new territories, new pastures, new people to join in with me, and changing whole programs in their lives. And again, one has to recognize this is not a good or a bad thing, but humanity does have a migration season, and it's just to respect that. It's a time to see how important are the connections that I have in my life to me. Is it time to disassociate? Is it time to change jobs or change professions, change careers, change where I live, change community? And the basics of it is the community. The 4037 is this community has come to the max. I can't go any further with it, and I have to move on. So very particular to recognize all of a sudden there's this urge, time to do moving somewhere else, time to get into something very different. And that is the season that comes up when the sun gets into the 40 with the fifth line and the sixth line. So all of these life themes, 192 life themes, are to be found in the Book of Destinies. And we spent 20 years writing this book. Your life themes in there, all your family's life themes are in there. And when you understand the life theme, you'll just see what are the impulses inside you that make you connect into the life in your own very, very particular way. And as I say, there's 192 of these particular themes. The whole story for humanity is in this book. And it makes, I have to say, very interesting reading of tuning in through the differences between the conscious and the unconscious side in everyone's life journey. We might say the conscious side is what we're here to witness ourselves living out. The unconscious, it's just there, it's the autopilot. But nevertheless, it has a huge effect in our world. This is the Human Design Trilogy. On the left, there's the QR code for getting a free report from our website. On the right is the QR code for getting the trilogy of human design books. There we are for today. Catch you next time around.